Greetings, everyone, and welcome. December the 9th, 2025. It is 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 9:50 p.m. in Ukraine. We have breaking news for you right now. President Zelensky is on a train en route back to Kyiv. He will be back in Ukraine tomorrow, and he has just dropped a shock statement that nobody was expecting him to say. We can have elections in 60 days if the United States provides protection, the European Union provides protection, the laws of Ukraine change. I'm not opposed to it, but this is not about me. This is about the will of the Ukrainian people. So this is breaking news right now. He is literally on the train. This started unfolding when he was being asked some questions by reporters, and he gave some really good answers, but then they went down the election questions. And this is in response to the Donald Trump interview less than a day ago, where he was calling for elections in Ukraine. Right now, the world is trying to digest this. If you're watching this as breaking news, this is probably going to be a little surprising for you. But there is an immense amount of pressure on President Volodymyr Zelensky coming not only from the White House, but also from the Kremlin through their different avenues to get into Kyiv. It is just reality. So I think it's best for you, for me, and for everyone involved that if we can hear the direct statement, not read it somewhere secondhand, but listen to President Zelensky himself. I have it for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. He just made these statements. I voiced it over immediately, and here we go. So today there are many questions about elections in Ukraine. Website News Channel 24, for example, they shared that Trump stated that Ukraine needs to hold elections immediately. And the question is the United States pressuring us? And have I discussed this question with the delegations? First of all, I want to say that I did not discuss this issue. Second, the matter of Ukrainian elections depends, I believe, primarily on our people. This is a Ukrainian people's issue, a national issue, and with all due respect to our partners, I'll say frankly that I'm ready for elections. If there are hints that we are clinging to power or I'm personally clinging to the presidency, and that's why this war continues, well, that's completely absurd. To hold elections, there are two issues. First is security, how to conduct them. How do we do it under attacks, under missiles? Regarding our military, the question is, how will they vote? You know this, and I want to repeat it. The second issue is the legal basis for legitimate elections. Since this issue is raised today by the United States President and our partners, I'll answer very briefly. Look, I'm ready for elections. Moreover, I'm openly asking the United States of America to help me. Together with European colleagues, we can ensure security for elections. Then, in the next 60 to 90 days, Ukraine will be ready for elections. I personally have the will and readiness. Further, since this is the case, I asked our faction's deputies, our parliamentarians, to prepare legislative proposals on changing the legal framework and the election laws during martial law. Prepare this for me. I'll be in Ukraine tomorrow. I'm expecting proposals from our partners, expecting proposals from our deputies, and I'm ready for elections. Now, before you get all disturbed by that, ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed a masterful move. Zelensky, in those 2 minutes and 20 seconds, did multiple things. A, he confirmed, I'm not power hungry. I'm not clinging on to power. B, he confirmed that Ukraine is a democracy that is run by law, and that the laws on the books will have to be changed for an election. And he's not opposed to that. He asks the questions: how will we safely vote? How will our military vote? We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of soldiers on the front lines in positions they can't move from. How will they vote? He then made a very direct statement. I hope it gets through. He says, listen, this is our issue, but I hear what the president of the United States is saying, but this comes down to the will of the people. So if you are so interested in this, then I'm asking for proposals from you, proposals from our partners, the United States, the European Union, on how you will provide security, how you will provide protection for us to have an election. If those things are possible, the laws can be changed. I'm ready for it. We can have an election in 60 to 90 days and do it to the best of our ability. So that is what we are hearing, and that's the analysis of it. So do not freak out over this. I can't find a better phrase to use. Zelenskyy did a masterful job pushing back on all of the pressure, but he answered it the way a true leader answers, not the way a dictator answers. And he provided a perfect example of servant leadership, of a humble leader. Sergei Sternyenko made one piece of analysis in regard to this. He says, elections during, I'm reading right here, a major war are deadly danger to statehood. They are unacceptable in any form while there is a full-scale aggression. This will tear our country apart from within. And ladies and gentlemen, that's from Sergei Sternyenko, who is not only really connected, massive supplier of drones for Ukrainian army, but he tells the truth. He's not always on one side or the other. He's point on with his opinions, but on this, it's not the time to separate and divide and go into political chaos. It's the time to stand together. And this is what Zelenskyy was demonstrating. He also said during that, I'm ready for a meeting with Trump at any time. No questions, anytime, anywhere, and any place. He says if we're talking about peace plans, there are 3 documents. There's a 20-point document, which is always changing. Then we have security guarantees, and we have reconstruction. He also stated, Zelenskyy stated, that this demand to give up the territories, even though it's coming through the mouth of the United States, actually is directly from the mouth of the Kremlin. And Zelenskyy confirming also in this conversation that Ukraine is currently using long-range Neptunes, Polyansas, Flamingos, and Sapsands. He says, we're fighting for our country, we're fighting for our life, and we're fighting for our future. But I am a servant leader. So if you want to talk about elections and you want to talk about changing our government, I'm open to it. But here is how it must happen. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this? This is big. This is really big. And now it's just breaking now. We will see what the reactions are coming in, and we will keep you posted. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I have to say it one more time. That's a servant leader. That's not a dictator. Slava Ukraini, Geroam Slava. That's what
Slava Ukraini.